Hi, honey. Stretch.
Hello, my darlings, and welcome to a new What I Read in a Week vlog. Oh, Sylvie is so cute. Oh, actually, I might change this bra. That's not a great silhouette. Anyway, I have already read something. So last night, yesterday, while I was working, I did pop in an audiobook to listen to. And it was pretty short, so I managed to listen to the entire thing during the day and then in the evening at night while I was in bed doing things. And the book that I listened to was Aisle 9 by Ian X. Cho. So this is a YA sort of like sci-fi horror, I guess. And in this world, there was a sort of doomsday apocalypse in which all of a sudden millions of people were killed when all of these hell portals opened up on Earth and spewed murderous demons into the world. We then flash forward and humans have sort of become accustomed to these hell portals. There is a company called Vanguard that trains demon slayers, and they are sent to patrol whenever a portal opens up. The demon slayers arrive, slay the demons, close the portal, everybody continues on with their day. And they're so commonplace now that it's the whole experience of it has become commercialized in a way in regards to how they now interact with these demonic hell portal events. We have our main character, Jasper, and Jasper is a checkout clerk with amnesia. He has zero social life and this nagging sensation that there's something important he needs to remember. But essentially, he's now an orphan too. His parents were killed on the Hell Portal Day, and he's just living a very solitary existence, except for his companion, Lara. And I don't want to tell you about Lara because Lara's not really mentioned on the synopsis, but she was a highlight. I loved her and would definitely love to have a Lara in my life. But there is one bright spot in Jasper's very mediocre life, and that is Kyle Kwan. She is one of the monster slaying Vanguard soldiers. So she is a certified apocalypse hardy and also someone who seems to really loathe Jasper for no discernible reason to Jasper whatsoever. But it turns out that both of them are having these same terrifying prophetic visions of the end of the world. So they are forced to team up. It's reluctant allies, friends to lovers, is it? But together they uncover the secret about the hell portals, the demons that spew forth from the hell portals, and also they piece together Jasper's missing past. But most of all, they discover that the end of times is scheduled for Black Friday, because of course it is. Retail hell and actual hell are rather the same, turns out. So Jasper basically works at Demon Costco because on aisle 9 it is where a hell portal likes to open up on a daily basis. There were a lot of jokes about hellspawn and corporate indifference, but the book was also trying to ask more serious questions about who are you, especially if you don't have a past and are monsters born, made, or just really badly misunderstood. To me, this book felt like a mashup of Superstore and If Found, Return to Hell, and Slayers of Old. So it was kind of a mashup of those, maybe even a bit of Dreadful, with the whole amnesia thing, and a villain's really villains. But yeah, it had some death. Some people did get brutally murdered. There was a giant tick monster, for instance, and you can imagine what a giant tick could do to a human. I ended up giving this a 3-star. It was unfortunately too YA for me, so too young. And it was a bit more of just a fun, not so serious time. I think it would make a good movie, a good teenager's movie. But yeah, I've given it a 3 stars. It was fun. Like I said, I just needed something to listen to that wasn't heavy and didn't require all of my concentration. The writing style is very simple, it's very straightforward, and it's easy to follow along with the plot. So I have now started Marrow by Samantha Browning Shea Player. I picked this up because of the cover. I love the dandelion. So this does have long chapters. I've only read one chapter, but it was over 30 pages. So we've got Una. Una is our main character, and we discover that she was kicked out of her mother's witch coven when she was 18, which meant that she had to forfeit her magical inheritance and any chance of becoming a proper witch. But We've now fast forwarded years later where she's married, she's broke, she's haunted by miscarriages, and she's currently pregnant. And with this particular witch coven, the magic revolves around being a mother. So no, sort of no baby, no magic situation, but she has a baby and she's desperate to keep this baby. And so it has forced her surreptitious return. She's heading back undercover, as it were, to the main island, to this island off Maine, so that she can participate in their fertility rituals without hopefully snagging her mother's attention, because she does need a miracle in order to be able to keep this baby. But it seems that the island is still hella creepy. It is giving cult vibes. And I don't know, I always say that there is always a price. It's one of the universal laws for balance. And it's like, well, if they're giving babies fertility to women, what's being taken in return? So I have a feeling that might be something that is explored, because yeah, basically Una wants a baby and I'm sure the coven wants something in return. So the reason that Una was exiled, and I'll say it because it was in the first chapter, is that upon their first menstruation, the witches are meant to have a visit from Persephone. And if Persephone doesn't visit them, it means that they are not magical and cannot be a witch. So Una, when she got her first period, saw nothing, and she was trying to keep it under wraps. You know, she's just waiting. She thought eventually she'll come. But Una ends up seeing not Persephone, but Hecate. And she's like, well, I can't say that. So that's why she ends up being forced to leave the coven. But like I said, necessity has hastened her return, has demanded her return. And she's willing to risk it all for the baby biscuit. At the moment, this is giving me Hagstone vibes. So I'm getting that. It's not super engaging. Like I said, the really long chapters and the quite serious, somber tone is weighing it down a little bit. I'm willing to give it a minimum of at least 2 chapters, so that's 60 plus pages, before I decide whether or not I'll continue on, because just the cover's so cool and it sounds cool. But look, sometimes too with like the culty books, they don't always work for me, and the writing style's not really doing anything for me in this particular case. But I will continue on with it and we'll see how we go. Besides that, I also want to read As Many Souls as Stars by Natasha Siegel, Live Many Lives, Love the One. So this is a historical, 1592. A daughter of a secret alchemist was born after the stars who was destined for disaster. And then it says Miriam is a creature born of shadow. Everything changes when Miriam meets Sybil. So is this sapphic? I think it is. Miriam offers a bargain. She will grant Sybil reincarnation in exchange for her soul. So this is sounding a lot like, sorry, timer went off. This is sounding a lot like The Invisible Lives of Addie LaRue so far. But, you know, I love the cover. It's got embroidery, which is very cute, but we'll give this a go. The first sentence is, she remembered little of her creation, save that it was painful for all those involved, and that she immediately punished those responsible for it. So we'll try that. Audiobook, let's see what I've got in on Libby. Oh, I should probably get onto the Book of Memory, because that is actually going to expire soon. So I might do that. Okay, Libby, I've got 2 options for audio. I've got Do We Deserve This and Catalina. So I might pick one of those to listen to as well. But today I am doing a burlesque workshop with my best friend Kate. That's what she got me for my birthday. Look, I have a lot of anxiety about it. I don't like exercise classes, even though I guess you'd say, oh, it's not exercise, but it's also choreography. And I don't have a really good brain for choreography, for remembering moves. I struggle with like embodiment and like being in the physical body. And sometimes my body has a mind of its own. So I don't know how I'll go, because it's also an hour and 45 minutes long. So that's a long time for me to engage in physical movement. So I'm just really worried about it. But I guess the worst case scenario, I'll just have to sit and watch everybody else be sexy bitches and get a free burlesque show. So it's not that bad. And I get to hang out with my bestie. I noticed there's a yochi that's pretty close to the studio. So I might stop in for a yochi afterwards, like a reward. It's a reward system. All right, go Chanel. Give it your best shot. I know you're super nervous about it, but you know, worst case scenario, like I said, I'll just sit and watch. I don't have to participate if I don't feel up to it, and then go for yochi afterwards with your bestie. So that's what I'm doing today. We'll see how we go. So I've got a little exercise outfit on. They just specified like a little swingy skirt. So that's what I've done. And they also specified heels. Babes, no, cannot. With my Ehlers Danlos, I tend to get a lot of toe dislocations, and they most commonly occur if I am perched in heels. So I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it. So yeah, I'm just going to flat foot it. So yeah, I know it's not the same, that you do really need the heels for the proper arch and form, but like I said, I'm just going to adjust for, you know, my disability and do my best. But I'll see you guys once I've come back from the class. I'll let you know how it went. Okay, I'm here and I really don't want to go in. I really don't want to go, Kate. I'm doing this for you, bitch. I'm doing this for you. God damn it. Anxiety. I do not know where I am going. Later. Is my first workout treat. Yeah, boy. No seats inside. I'm back. I survived. So the warm-up was intense. I remember looking at Kate and thinking, woman, if the rest of this choreography is like this warm-up, I'm out. Like, I'm done. There's no way I can do it. But luckily the actual choreography wasn't physically intensive. But guys, I don't know how you'll remember choreography. That stuff does not stick in my brain. I was like concentrating with every brain cell that I had available to try and remember the dance moves. I remember Ivana, who's stunning, gorgeous, funny, massive crush on her, saying, have fun with it, play around, do some stuff with your face. And I'm like, this is not gonna happen. I can't play around because I can barely remember the steps, you know? That's where all of my energy is going. Remember the steps. And I didn't remember all the steps. I quickly watched back the footage and I'm like, I messed it up. I'm very stiff because, you know, it's not natural to me. I don't remember it. So all my moves are very stiff and robotic. But it was an interesting experience. I don't think I would do it again. Like I said, just the whole thing of trying to remember choreography in the one class, like the whole thing in the one class, it's too much for my brain and my body to try and correlate and work together. So, and Kate had done 2 classes. She did back-to-back classes. I don't know how she did it. There's no way I could have done a second class. I am so tired. I am so tired. But we grabbed some yochi afterwards, had a bit of a chat, and then we went home because it was a long drive. It's even longer for them. So it was about an hour for me and it's like 2.5 hours for them. But the ladies were all wonderful, beautiful. We started off the class by going around in a circle and telling everybody one of our fetishes. So it's very fun. And I say, if you like choreography and stuff, definitely give this burlesque dance a go. Like I said, Ivana was a fantastic teacher and she's just a hot, funny bitch. And the dance routine, it was cool. It was a cool song. It was cute little flirty moves. It's just, I don't remember stuff easily, but I think if you just have a normal brain, it was a routine that you could pick up in the one class very easily and actually zhuzh it up, you know what I mean? Like, you know, smile and wink and do stuff with your face and you know, ease into it and not be like, like I was. But yeah, look, I'm glad I went. I did have a bit of a mini panic attack because I couldn't find the place. It says it's on the main road. It's not the main road. It's actually through this underpass into a parking lot, and in the parking lot there's a stairwell, and then you go up to the 3rd floor on the stairwell. No signage anywhere on this front street where it says it is, in the courtyard, in the parking lot, in the stairwell, no signage until you get up to the 3rd floor, and then you see on the door, oh, this is the studio here. So, and I was messaging Kate, and obviously she couldn't. Oh, cat vomit, I gotta go.
You're so cute. You're so cute.
Hey guys, so I am back. I had to take some time off because I wasn't in the best mental health space because of what happened in Bondi in Australia. My heart was broken for everybody who was harmed, who was killed, the people who lost loved ones. But also then I had some faith restored when I saw how many Australians, brave, heroic Australians, ran towards the danger to help other people and to stop the killers from harming anymore. Yeah, it just makes me feel proud to be an Australian when I see people put their own lives at risk to help others, because that's what it means to be an Australian. We're all in this together. I can't talk about it because it is very upsetting. It's just not Australian to hurt other people. We're all mates and we're all neighbours, and this is our country, and that is not who we are.
We are one, but we are many, and from all the lands on earth we come. We share a dream and sing with one voice. I am, you are, we are Australian.
Yeah, I would normally leave links to the GoFundMe's, but by the time this posts, it's done. And I know already, like I've already donated one of the heroes, Ahmed, who has gone viral, and rightly so, for taking on one of the gunmen unarmed to try and stop them, and he did. He was shot repeatedly. He's in hospital. They said, I think he's going to be okay, thank God. But yeah, his GoFundMe has already reached 1.5. I haven't found any others for the victims. I don't know if there's going to be a fund that is created to help those who were harmed or died or lost their loved ones. But if there is, I will donate to that too. Oh, fuck. But yeah, like I said, in situations like this, I hope those evil men, their names are forgotten. We just remember the people, like I said, who lost their lives, who were hurt and who helped others that day. They're the ones that we should remember and we should support. So yeah, it's hard to see, because I just feel like at this point in our evolution, humans should be beyond the point where we're hurting and harming other people just because they have different beliefs. These were innocent families at the fucking beach. I can't talk about it because I will get very emotional, and I need to tell you about the books I read, and I need to leave the house. So I already had some time to try and sit with my emotions, and I thought I was ready, but like I think with these things you just never get over it, because it's, yeah. Just give me a sec. Okay, hello kitty. I was reading Marrow by Samantha Browning-Shees. This was the book with the witch coven that consists of mothers and the woman who was excommunicated and has returned because she's pregnant. I DNF'd it because, one, didn't really love the writing style and the extraordinary long chapters. I don't think we need chapters more than 30 pages. I just feel like it, I don't know, unless you are one of the people that can just put a bookmark in at any point, whereas I'm not. I feel like I have to get to the end of a chapter because I feel like that's the proper ending point, stopping point. But the main character, Una, did not like her. I didn't like the way she was treating the other women. I was getting the feeling, obviously I don't know because I didn't finish the book, that she was just pregnant not because she actually wanted to be a mother, but because she wanted to be a witch, and she can only become a witch if she's a mother. So that's just the vibe I was getting. I hated that she didn't tell her husband, whom supposedly she was in a good relationship with, that she was going or where she went. And then she wakes up the next day and she's got 27 missed calls from her husband who came home and she wasn't there. She's like, oh, you know. And I'm like, bitch, of course he's worried. He's come home and his pregnant wife is fucking missing. You couldn't have let him know, hey, like, I'm going to this health retreat that supposedly helps women with issues with miscarriage carry to term or whatever. She could have said anything just to let him know where she was, but no. And she just didn't seem fazed by how her actions affect other people. She just didn't seem like a nice person. And I know she's got trauma from her mother, but yeah, I wasn't enjoying the book. Like I said, it was reminding me of Hagstone, which is not a book that I enjoyed. So I decided to DNF it, and I did read the ending and I'm glad I DNF'd it. Then we have As Many Souls as Stars by Natasha Siegel. So I have been reading this, so let me tell you about it. I'm about 65 pages in thus far. So this is set in 1592, and we have our main character, Sybil Harding. And she unluckily has been born under a celestial do not disturb sign. Her fate is cursed. In this family, which is a family of witches, if the firstborn is a daughter, that daughter must be killed because she will bring ruin upon everybody should she be allowed to live. But her father had a massive ego and he thought, I'm sure I can uncurse her and everything will be fine. Wasn't fine. She has a father who is obsessed with his alchemy. And then her mother, who is rather absent, she ends up being drugged up and paralyzed by grief. And then enter Miriam Richter, an immortal shadow creature, professional soul eater, and eternal goth. Miriam Richter is not even her real name. It is her stolen identity, which she took for herself after she ate the original Miriam Richter's soul. Poor Miriam Richter was starving, so she bargained to never feel hungry again, and she didn't. She never felt hungry again, as she starved to death. So Miriam, the new Miriam, has been on an all-you-can-eat human soul buffet, never giving a care to the humans' lives she cuts short, until Miriam spots Sybil's soul glowing like a disco ball in the void, and she thinks, mine. So she offers Sybil a deal, reincarnation, and a shot at a better fate in return for her soul. Eventually, Miriam believes this soul, this potent, will keep her full for years. So I believe what follows is centuries of reincarnation, cat and mouse flirtation, philosophical sparring, and complicated feelings, because their dynamic is very much that. Already, Miriam is both ravenous for Sybil's soul, but also incredibly intrigued, drawn to, and attracted to Sybil. She is flirting and she ain't pulling any punches, bro. Sybil, however, not interested. She's like, no thank you, demon creature. Please be gone. The power of Christ compels you away from me. As I previously thought, this is very much giving the invisible life of Addie LaRue. I'm feeling that very heavily. Obviously, it's a bit more sapphic, even though Miriam is genderless. Well, it's a demon that doesn't really have gender, but they are currently inhabiting a woman's body, albeit a 6 foot tall, androgynous looking woman's body. Sybil is in a tough spot though. As I said, there is a witch hunt going on across the lands. She is quite literally a witch. She has thus far not been able to get a hang of her powers to control them. They tend to lash out during moments of extreme emotion, but she's got to do something. She's now the woman of the household and things are looking grim. So obviously a deal will be struck. I'm not at that point yet where the deal has been struck. We're at this little, like I said, cat and mouse game, tete-a-tete, where Miriam is constantly offering, and Sybil is saying, not today, Satan. So we'll see how we go. I probably will continue on. Hopefully it's good. I would hope it's not going to be a DNF because I would like to get another book under my belt for this reading vlog. It's currently Tuesday. I am going to the city, which you will have seen in my Winter Ween vlog. So I think I'll take Snake Eater by Taking Fisher with me because it's one of the more slimmer books that I have borrowed. I don't want to take my e-reader. I'd rather take a physical book today because that's what I'm in the mood for. I think I might pop into the City Library too, because I do need to pick a book that's on display for one of my February book prompts, and they might have better options in terms of their display. So I'll just give that a look, and then I have plans to obviously eat. I'm really hungry. And I might pop into Mecca to smell some perfumes, because that's my happy place. That is my happy place. And then I might head home. I don't think I'm going to be out long today because it's the week before Christmas. So I think all the mice will be Christmas shopping, and it's too many people for me. And also I want to rest because my kids come back tomorrow. So I'll touch base with you when I have something to tell you. Okay, my darlings, I am back, and I didn't pick up any books at that library because they didn't have anything on display that I wanted. I didn't want to be carrying books around the city if I didn't really like them. I did go to my other library to grab some books, so I grabbed Hopelessly Devoted by Audrey Goldberg-Ruoff. Look, I don't really love a lot of contemporary romance. Obviously, I think this is magical, but there was a cat in the front, so I'll give it a go. Surplus Women by Michelle Duff. Don't even know what this is about. I just grabbed it. Jess is the only one in her group who hasn't lost her virginity. Genevieve is being held captive in a dugout with her gymnastics nemesis from 40 years ago. Jade absorbs catcalls like Mario powering up on mushrooms. And from heaven, the dream team data analyzes human destinies while worrying about their job security. Oh, it's a collection of stories about women, past, present, future, Aotearoa. So it's New Zealand. All right, give it a go. The Book of Lost Hours by Hayley Galfuso. I think I saw this on one of the Goodreads nominees. A love that defies time, a choice that will change history. Nuremberg, 1938, Nazi. Oh, I don't like World War stuff. Boston, 1965, CIA agent. We'll see. Yeah, I don't love wartime stuff. I got this for Indy. I'm hoping she'll like it. This is Drop Bear by Philip Bunting. Let's see what the illustration style is like. I just saw the cover and I thought, look, that could be funny. Oh yeah, she likes that very simplistic style, so we'll give that a go. And then I got this big boy, this big folio book. It says The Architect's House Inside the Homes of 20 Architects Around the World. I love architecture and interior design. Okay, I got myself some snacks. I got myself that Canal, and I got some quality Outback mix, mate. Some nuts and stuff. I did read a huge amount of this. I am on page 263. There's a lot of public transport time sitting at the cafe. I went back to Dame. Dame's my favourite place because I love the food. So that beef brisket and potato hash dish, so good. I am a sucker for a good beef brisket. It's one of my favourite types of meat dishes. But it's so good. And I got the juice today, which was really delicious. It was just a green juice, and it was very yum. And I love to sit and people watch while I eat my food, just to sit and look at everybody. I did not approach any hotties, nor was I approached by any hotties today. But yes, T. Kingfisher's Snake Eater. I much prefer this cover over the other one, the purple actual snake eater one with a rattlesnake. So the book is about Selena. And Selena has decided that she is leaving her toxic partner. Selena's a bit codependent. And she takes her dog Copper, which for some reason I keep reading as Cooper, but it's Copper. She takes her dog, her last $27, and she flees to the desert to hopefully go live with her estranged aunt. Unfortunately, when she arrives into town, turns out her aunt has been dead for a year. But it's a very, very small town, the kind of small town that left her aunt's house vacant and all of the possessions until a relative showed up or they decided what to do with it. And luckily for her, no one else showed up. So she gets her aunt's house and her aunt's belongings. She also is inheriting all the other things that come with Quartz Creek. The neighbors are very, very friendly, especially Grandma Billy. But the local wildlife seems like it isn't too happy about her taking possession of her dead aunt's house and might low-key be trying to kill her. Until good old Grandma Billy explains to her that in this desert town, gods exist and they like to hang around. Most of them are benevolent, but not all. And as it turns out, Selena's aunt didn't just die, she left some unfinished business with an ancient desert god called Snake Eater, a being who seems to thrive on worship, promises, and apparently very intense emotional fixations. He's giving incel. And Snake Eater decides that Selena will do very nicely as a replacement paramour slash object of obsession. So I'm at the point where Selena is reading her dead aunt's journals, and she's starting to learn about what she definitely might have inherited. And Snake Eater wants what he feels he's owed. He didn't like it when Selena said no thank you, don't want to bang you, respectfully. And yeah, he's not doing good with respecting her boundaries. So she's got to figure out, how do I survive pissing this ancient god off? How do I keep my little doggy safe? That is her main objective. And how do I stay here in this little town that finally feels like home? So I will have to admit, the start of this, isn't she fucking gorgeous? She's so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Bluebell. I'm all up in her space. This was rough starting with, because we are privy to every single one of Selena's thoughts. And like I said, she is highly anxious, codependent, very self-deprecating, self-flagellating. And I was like, dude, if we're going to hear every single one of her negative thoughts constantly, I'm out of here, because it's exhausting. Obviously, I understand what it's like having that frame of mind. Like I said, I lived in it for 34 years, just a constant negative inner critic that never shuts up, that is constantly berating you and telling you you're worthless. And yes, a lot of it was formed by people whom you love around you, speaking to you in that way. So once again, like I can relate, I understand, I think it's well represented, but as someone who finally got free of that, I just hate being back there in that space. I'd rather not. Is very unpleasant. And like I said, I did my time. Don't want to, will never, hopefully, ever go back to that. But I'll just give you an example. No, she can't be. I came all this way. I can't afford to go anywhere else. I can't even afford a ticket back. A year ago. Stupid. Should have thought what you'd do if she was dead, or even had moved. Didn't think, didn't plan. Callous, stupid. So stuff like that. But like I said, how long till that sort of lets up? Let me see how many pages, because that's written in italics, so I can kind of see. All right, so it's about the 150 page mark that it slows down a little bit. It does still happen, especially when she has any sort of social interaction with people, because she's constantly self-monitoring and she's masking sort of. She definitely seems to be on the spectrum. And like I said, anxiety disorder for sure. And she's constantly checking herself for how she performed socially, and so she is not great at reading other people's social cues and reactions, and therefore she assumes that everything she said is a social faux pas and not cool. And so we get this constant like feedback loop in her brain every time she says anything out loud. So like I said, it's still exhausting, but I'm pushing past it. I'm glad I pushed past it. Well, I'm going to be honest, there is a chance that I would have DNF'd this if this wasn't the only book that I had on me today. It could have happened, because yes, I just didn't like being in that energy. But the reason I'm going on with this, low-key interested in the gods, especially the squash god. Oh my God, what an adorable little creature. I hope a squash god comes and visits me in my garden. You are welcome, my darling. But obviously other gods, not so much. The main thing is Grandma fucking Billy, badass bitch, you trans queen. Just, love her. Like I said, this is like the era of baddie geriatric characters, okay? Give me people over the age of 60. Thank you. Yes, I love them. They don't give any shits about living to other people's expectations anymore. They are comfortable in their own skin. They are who they are. They don't apologize for it. And like, seriously, every elder character that I have read about recently within the last year end up being my favorite characters, especially cranky old women. You know, so like I said, Golden Girls is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And I hope to mature into that energy, even though I think they were in their 50s and I'm only a decade away from that. So maybe it ain't long now. For some reason in my head, I thought like, you know, they were 65 plus, like retired. But I think I remember reading somewhere, oh no, those women were actually late 40s, early 50s. I'll double check myself. But yeah, it's giving that energy. Grandma Billy. Definitely going to be one of my favorite characters of this year. I'll have to write it down. Sometimes I forget. It's hard to keep track of characters when you read hundreds of books, but love her. So like I said, I'm not long now. There's just a lovely small town group of misfits. So it's got that found family vibe. It's got desert energy. I've never lived in a desert, but I can sort of guess what it's like based on this. A lot of critters, like scorpions. I could not, I'm sorry. I know Australia is known for being fucked with its wildlife, like in terms of spiders and snakes. Yes, that is true. I deal with spiders on an almost daily basis in my house. It doesn't bother me except if it's a huntsman, just because of their size. They are so hard to catch. Like catching a huntsman, you need like a large container. Then it's hard to like slide something underneath and like transport it outside safely. So they just give me so much anxiety in terms of trying to catch them without harming them. And obviously they have this habit of getting into your cars and then hiding in your sun visor, so that when you pull it down because the sun's in your eyes, hello. And I'm sure they have caused many, many, many car accidents. It has happened to me. Luckily, I've swerved to the left, stopped, jumped out of my car, screamed, and then tried to find it in my car. But like that has happened now every time I'll do the sun visor before I get in the car because it's happened. But besides them, the only other ones that freak me out are the whitetails, which we get a lot because they're very aggressive. Every single time I catch one in my house, they will run at me trying to bite, and they can be lethal. And redbacks are in the garden a lot. We don't have the funnel webs there, Sydney, thank God. But yeah, there's also brown recluses, which are also, I think they're dangerous too. So yes, spiders is a thing. Ugh, I don't like it. Like I still have a heart attack. But I'm used to dealing with them. Snakes, thankfully, where I live, there don't seem to be any snakes. I don't know how I'd fare if I saw a brown snake, because once again, lethal. But scorpions, what do you do? If it's a big one, what do you do? You can't kill that. And then trying to catch that, yeah, so scorpions, I don't know, man. I don't think I could deal with that. That's like, no, we're moving somewhere else where there's no scorpions. Thank you. Let me know if you live somewhere where there's scorpions and how you deal with scorpions. But what was I saying? Yeah, the gods is interesting. So they're kind of like spirits. They're like animal spirits and plant spirits. There's another town too called Rivendell, and someone named Galadriel lives there, and that's really cute. So a little nod to Tolkien. But yeah, I haven't got long to go. So I'm on page 263 and there's 350 pages. So 100 pages to go. I'll see if I can remember to film myself. Hello, can I kiss? I'll see if I can remember to film my reaction to the end, but I'm pretty sure with most with most T. Kingfisher books, they don't really have impactful or surprising endings. They normally end in a very sweet, heartwarming way. So the most you'll get is a smile. I love her little toe beans. They're so cute. You've got the cutest toe beans. Yes, yeah, you do. They're all mismatched. They're all mismatched. I put lipstick on your toe bean. Let me wipe that off. I'm so sorry. Or put lipstick on your paw too. Mummy's very sorry. But yeah, like I said, I had 2 drinks today. Is it Jen? I don't know how to say it. Jen matcha. Let me go look up how to pronounce it. I have a feeling that might be a type of matcha because my drink was green. I know that, was it Hanako? Is not. Let me see, Jen matcha. That was a really fucking delicious drink. So that is taking out the lead so far. Like I said, the juice was fantastic, but Jen matcha. It's green tea blended with roasted brown rice. Yes, it did have a very nutty, toasted flavor that kind of almost reminded me of buckwheat in a way. And what was the other one? Kinako. They call it popcorn tea. Interesting. So it's a type of green tea. It's not matcha, so it's a type of green tea. What about Jen matcha. Kinako. Kinako is made from ground roasted soybeans. Interesting, rich in protein and fiber. That's good. Okay, I might try and like keep my eye out for that as well. But yeah, that drink is number 1. It was fantastic. And now I'm going to try the Canal. So this is taro. Why can't I remember? I would have written it on the screen, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm sorry, but as one, Very, very sweet. Oh, pandan. I got there in the end. I love pandan. Taro not so much, but very, very sweet. But the outside of it does taste burnt to me, and I don't like that bitter flavor that you get with burnt. So I'm not gonna have any more of that. I don't like it. It's not bad. It's just not to my taste. But I wanted to try it. I wanted to try it out. So successful day. Oh, that's what I was gonna ask. Does anyone know of a search engine that's good? Because Google has started doing an AI response, and I'm pretty sure I heard that with AI stuff. Every question you ask uses a cup of water in resources. So I'm pretty pissed. And secondly, yesterday I Googled the lyrics to that song I did in the burlesque. I wrote, I got some apples, if you want them, you can grab them, because I wanted to know who it was, and it was Scissor Sisters. And fucking Google comes back with their AI response. I don't eat fruit, but those apples do sure sound tasty. And I'm like, you motherfucker, not only could you not even answer the question that I asked, but you used a cup of our Earth's resources for that shit, for that lame attempt at humor. Fuck right off. So I'm pretty pissed. Like I said, I don't want to be using AI every time I Google something. I Google shit a lot, obviously. So if someone knows of a better search engine that does not automatically use AI, because we don't need more data centers in the world polluting and ruining the surrounding area for everybody who lives there. Like, I've been reading up about those poor people who now live next to data centers. And I've heard that in America, they're calling to replace Christmas tree farms with data centers. So they're urging people to have artificial trees. I'm like, okay, no. So yeah, I know I'm fighting a tsunami that eventually there won't be a choice and AI will just become part of everyday life, whether you want it or not. But while I have a choice in terms of, hello baby, search engines, I'd rather use something else. So please tell me. I feel like some of you are techie. Obviously, I'll have to Google what are the search engines. Back in the day, I remember I used to use Alta Vista. And was it Go Fish? Alta Vista, Go Fish. I use Brave. Brave is my browser. Does Brave have their own home thing? Because like it just goes to Google. What's the homepage? Brave, what's your homepage? Let me open up a tab and see what it opens as. No, it's just nothing. It just goes, do you want to go to any of your most visited websites, which is like YouTube, from Wikipedia and Reddit. Yeah, I like to have information. So no, let me know. Let me see, is there anything else I needed to update you on? I got cat hair all over my mouth right now. It's worth it. It's worth it. No, that's everything. So yeah, I'm going to be finishing this off today, and then I'll go back to the other book, and we'll see how we go from there. Okay, I'm on my last 40 pages, so let's do this. I'm not going to tell you what's going on because I don't want to spoil it. Oh, you motherfucker. No. Yes. Me, motherfucker. DJ Raven. Yeah, grab my belly. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, so I did finish. You saw me finish it. Like I said, yeah, the endings are always just smile-inducing, I find. What is this? I guess you would call this like an eerie folklore horror adjacent book. I wouldn't call this an actual horror. I guess is it more like a thriller? Maybe spooky paranormal, I guess, creepy paranormal. Dog does live, that's important to note. The dog is okay. Some animals are not though, so there was a scene where Snake Eater did kill some other animals, and that was rough. I did shed a tear in that scene. So be warned for that. It was very typical Kingfisher protagonist. So you've got someone who's had trauma, they're on the neurodivergent scale, they're very, very tired. I found like that tends to be a lot. The protagonists are exhausted. They are pretty sensible, even if they are scared. They all eventually end up growing a backbone. I find like her characters go on arcs of becoming, you know, sort of more brave and more self-assured and less harsh on themselves. Like they believe in themselves by the end. And a lot of her stories too involve that found family aspect, and a lot of her stories also involve the animal companion. So there's a bit of a what do you call it? I'm just trying to see what's the better light situation. She's got a bit of a formula. So this one, out of all of her other books, this is the most like House with Good Bones. So I think if you liked that, this could be a good comparative one for you. There's a lot of dry humor, which I love. I do like T. Kingfisher's addition of humor. It's subtle, but it's always there and it's always appreciated. This one was a lot about boundaries, especially because of Selena's past with her mother and her former partner. Obviously a lot about inheritance with this one, and I guess women standing up for themselves and finding community. The community aspect was strong with this. Standing up for your neighbor and helping your neighbor when they're in need. And it was very much giving Six of Pentacles energy, which in the tarot is giving and receiving. It's often involved with the charity, but it's like lend a hand, accept a helping hand sort of vibe. What are some other themes? This was very contemporary. Would you call this urban fantasy? I think it's urban fantasy, right? Urban fantasy, folk horror. Small town, big element too. But I did love the gods, especially towards the end. I would have loved even more of the gods, the other types of gods woven into the story. That would have been cool. There was a cool reveal about one of them, which I was like, oh, that's cool. So that was very fun. And one of the characters had an interesting backstory that I would have liked to know more about. But I think I'm going to go with the 4 stars for this one. Like I said, the beginning was tough, and Selena, it's a bit of a rough character to be in the head of, because it's not until right at the end where she finally like stops apologizing and gains some confidence in speaking her own truth rather than just saying what she thinks other people want to hear, and molding herself to other people's expectations of what she believes are their expectations of her, and not being such a people pleaser. So yeah, like I said, I understand like it's good to have the representation of these characters, but yeah, as someone who was formerly like this, I just find it irritating to be in that mind frame again, you know what I mean? Like, so I prefer to read about characters that don't have issues with boundaries and aren't codependent and aren't people pleasers and don't have extreme anxiety and social awkwardness and everything else. Like, I don't want to read about my former self as much. But yeah, I'm glad I continued on with it. So yeah, I'm like feeling 4.25 for Grandma Billy, because she's definitely going to be one of my favorite characters from this year. Love her. And I'd say my favorite god was the Raven god. I won't say anything more about that, but that one's done. So I've got the other book to go on to. I've got so many physical books. It's a lot. I wish I could read them in bed, but because of my arthritis, that hurts. But I need to do that. I might have to just actually prioritize more daytime reading. Maybe save some of my YouTube watching just for the evening only, because I can watch YouTube in bed. So I might have to do that. I normally like to get all my screen time done during the day, because I don't like to look, even though I do the warm thing, I don't like to look at any screen at nighttime. Obviously, a Kobo has a screen, but I feel like it's less disruptive. than other tech. And obviously on the Kobo, I always have it on the warmest mode possible. I just have to figure it out because like I said, it's just 3 weeks is just not much time to get through books. It's summer holidays. And when my kids are here 24/7, I'm quite busy, but it's market rollover. So I don't really trade during rollover. And then it's Christmas, New Year's, which is also not a good time to trade. So for the last 2.5 weeks of the year, I don't actually work, which could be a bit rough on the finances. I'm fine. I'm quite tight with money towards the end of the year, but it just is what it is. So, and I'm all out of yarn. So my Etsy store will be pretty much on hiatus until I get more yarn, because I've got a new deck. So I only make bags out of whatever yarn I have left from yarn I've purchased to make my bag for myself. I don't, like, it's not a business. It's just a way to use up the leftover yarn that I have and have no other use for. I am working on a new deck though. So I did a whole bunch of Oracle and Tarot decks because I create those as well. And then I had to take a break because I burnt myself out creatively making those. And I've just recently started to get the itch to go back to a project I was previously working on. It was an Oracle deck, so I might return to that project actually and get that up and going. So I should have more time to read. After saying all that, I've just realized maybe I will be able to get through all the books. And what have I got left from the original? Oh yeah, that's right. So from the original library haul. Oh, sorry Nova. I do have Queen of Swords, a romantasy puzzle quest, and it's written by 2 authors. The vibe, the energy I'm getting from this is not gonna like it, but it's interesting. It says it's interspersed with 30 bewitching puzzles to solve. What does that mean? Let me have a look. Oh, we've got like full-on puzzles. Let's see what another puzzle. Oh my god. It's an actual puzzle. That's going to be hard to do without being able to draw in the book. Yeah. That's going to be hard. Is this YA? This feels like it might be young, like not an adult book. Let me just look this up a little bit. But I don't know if you guys were like that too. I always had puzzle books I loved. Search, finder words, and like actual puzzles. I had all types, Sudoku, not just Sudoku and crosswords and things. I love doing them, and it's good for your brain. This will be interesting. Let me have a Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords. I just wonder who is the targeted demographic for this one, because look, adults can do puzzles too, but just the way it's formatted and looks. Yeah, I meant to put a space there, obviously. Quinov is not a word, and it's not showing up. What's the author's name? Goodreads search is trash. Sarah Sadev. There you are. Not yet published. Oh, you guys don't have this yet. If you're in America, I'm assuming it's America. It's not coming out until the 10th of February for y'all. We got this one early. There's no genre. There is 0 ratings, 0 reviews. Wow. Okay, I might be the very first person to read this, and I'll let you know. Who's this published by? It must be an Australian publisher. Michael O'Mara Books. First published in Ireland. First published in London, and then Ireland. Okay. Yeah, I'll be going on to this puzzle book next after. We'll see if I finish. I've got so many books in my currently reading because I can't post reviews for them until the 1st of January. Everyone who's following me, you are going to get spammed so hard come 1st of January. There's going to be like 40 book reviews. I'm sorry. As Many Souls as Stars. That's the one. Okay. Cool. That's the plan, my man. Another book bites of dust. Oh, look. We got some of the beautiful end pages again. So we've got a raven. I was just trying to see if it's the gods. No, it's just a cool pattern. That was this book. Literally hanging off it, babes. I love you. Yeah, you try and fit on there. Yeah. See how that goes. So comfy. Good morning, guys. Yesterday, 22. Today, 39. Needless to say, it is hot. I thought I'd better film quickly at the start of the day. I'm already sweating. I probably will have to turn my aircon on at some point because it's just going to get too hot. And I've got Valentine and her friends coming over today. They want to make viral TikTok recipes. So we're going to be cooking in the kitchen. I did find some recipes that require me not using the oven. So we're not really cooking, but I'll be in the kitchen all day. So I did finish reading As Many Souls as Stars by Natasha Siegel. So to refresh your memory, we have Miriam, shadow demon, soul eater, who keeps showing up to collect Sybil's soul like it's an overdue library book. And Sybil keeps reincarnating with new personalities and new ways to keep saying absolutely not to Miriam. And somewhere between all of this cat and mouse play between the two of them, they fall into the most doomed, codependent, toxic situationship relationship ever. This was gothic and emotionally ruthless. The immortality angle is just adding to that slow burning ache. And every year that they are apart, they're trying to find each other again. Well, not so much. Sybil doesn't really want to find Miriam, but Miriam wants to find Sybil. It just adds another layer of longing and yearning and resentment and cruel tenderness. The romance in this, it's not healthy. It's obsessive, cyclical, thorny, and it is 100% giving the song Tainted Love.
Once I ran to you, now I run from you.
Can love exist without ownership? Can survival exist without destruction? In short, this book was utterly devastating, monstrously beautiful, and fucking feral. I loved it. I gave it a 4.5 stars. It is delicious. It is messed up, okay? Like I said, this is not a paragon for true love, perfect romance, a relationship you would ever aspire to be in. Is it passionate? Yes, it is one of those relationships that absolutely straddles the line of love and hatred, of desire and repulsion, of pleasure and pain. Miriam Richter is not human, okay? So you need to remember that. And they act as they are, which is essentially a monster who's never ever previously cared for humanity in the slightest. But Sybil has somehow caused its dead heart to beat again, but it is still a monster's heart. So I will just leave that as you can imagine. Sybil, through her iterations, it was fun to see how that played out and the details of their bargain, how Sybil tried her best to circumnavigate them so that she could win this almost impossible, unwinnable game with Miriam. Yeah, I would absolutely read more from this author. I hope this author does like all pairings. We've obviously had FF. I would love to see how they write other pairings as well, just to feed my bisexual heart. But this, I was pleasantly surprised. I was unsure about this one. I was intrigued, but I thought, oh, this could go either way. I could end up getting bored with it, or, you know, it could feel similar to other things I've read, but they played it well, and I'm glad they didn't humanize Miriam too much. Yes, she loved Sybil in her way. So it sort of also reminded me of Cassandra Clare's The Salt Grows Heavy in that way. But yes, very good read. Glad I read that. It was sex scenes. There are sex scenes. So there's a sex scene, but it's not described in terms of like graphically. But yeah, it was in there. And then yeah, there were some other characters too, though. There's a lot of collateral in this, and it sucks. One of my favorite characters, though, was Sybil's most current brother. I actually want to read more about him. Good old chap. Cheerio. Righty then. So I'm going on to Queen of Swords next, the Romantasy Puzzle Quest. I'm trying to go in with expectations. I feel like it won't be for me. It's a cool idea, at the very least, inventive. So we'll see. The first, we've got a little map, Kingdom of Arcania, and it says, "It was said that on the far bank of the river, beyond the town of Dalmorgan, there was magic." So that'll be on up next. I was listening to Treachery of Swans, beautiful cover, was giving, supposedly supposed to give Black Swan vibes, make it magic, and I'm just bored. I am very bored and I don't care. So I will give it a little bit longer of a try, but yeah, I don't, what is it even about? Besides me telling you Black Swan, let me just actually go to Goodreads because I don't even have enough of an idea yet. It's just like so slow to get into it. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Let's see what the synopsis is. Come on, refresh. Okay, so Treachery of Swans, A.B. Portanek. And it says it's a romantasy based on Swan Lake. Odalie plans to restore magic to a kingdom. That's right, there were sorcières and something happened and the king blamed the sorcières and he deigned magic to now be illegal, so they have to like hide, but she wants it so that they can be free again. And while she's doing that, there's a murder mystery and she's forced to beg help from a young woman whose identity she stole. So one's enchanted and one is an enchantress, and can they save their kingdom together? So it sounds cool, but yeah, she is 17. Is this actually YA? Maybe it's 2 I'm not feeling it. Yeah, it is YA. It could be that as well. So yeah, the whole shtick was she stole the noblewoman's identity, turned the noblewoman into a swan, and then what happens is the king is brutally murdered and her brother is accused. So now she's teaming up with Swan Girl to, I guess, prove her brother's innocence. I'll give it a bit longer, but yeah, I'm not feeling it whatsoever. At the moment, it's feeling like a 2-star, so we'll see how we go, and I'll touch base with you once I've read some more. Oh, that's what I was meant to tell you yesterday. I had this feeling like I was supposed to say something else. I watched Begonia. Look, phenomenal acting. It's good, but it was very predictable, and I don't know, it was a bit of a, I don't know, like it was just okay. I can't even describe to you how I really felt about it. Like I said, I was like, okay, I have to go pick up my kids from the dad. So Begonia, I gave it 3 stars. Hey guys, please ignore the wet hair. I just had a shower. I'm coming to update you because I did actually pick up, was it the Moonglow bookshop? It wasn't for me, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just, look, the writing style, it is translated. I find I tend not to mesh well with that kind of writing, and I didn't actually like the way the characters were talking. I love the cover, but the book wasn't for me, so I've DNF'd that. Even though I had an interesting idea, premise, I just, yeah, wasn't vibing. And I will try and hopefully go on to the Queen of Swords today. I have just been spending most of my time making an oracle deck. I get very hyperfixated on creative projects, and so that's all I've been wanting to do. I haven't been wanting to read. So if I do start Queen of Swords today, I'll update you today. It is stinking hot. We've got another 40 degree day today, and I've got to pick up my daughter and her friends from the pools. Okay guys, so I read 50 pages of this. Look, it's very cute and sweet, but it feels very, very young. And it turns out I'm just not in the mood to do puzzles. And like I said, because I can't draw on the book, yeah, it's an immersive experience. I think if you love puzzles, especially also maybe if you're a younger reader, I don't think this would have smut in it. I'm not sure, obviously, but in the 50 pages I read, it was very tame. And like I said, it feels YA. It doesn't have on Goodreads. I'm just trying to see if I can see any like genitalia words, but I don't think so. Wait, is there a kiss there? I saw the word thumb. Oh no, he's just stroking her pulse point. Hello, Blue, milady. Oh, okay. Not for young kings. Hold on here. But we've got a sex scene. That's a bit dirtier than I anticipated, because she could feel the tip of his press against her stomach from the inside. He must have a donkey dick. Just give me a minute. It's hitting that perfect spot Okay. Let me just gonna see if there's any more. No, we've got the puzzle solutions. Okay. Okay. No, probably not YA, then probably adult. I was really not expecting that. By the way it was written, it felt very, I got a hair on my mate. 1 second. It's gonna, got it. Blue, it's one of yours. Yeah, it was feeling very tame. I don't know, yeah, it just, look, it's not for me. I'm sure it has its audience. I don't know who that is anymore. I was thinking, oh yeah, this is a sweet, chill YA with puzzles, but it's like, no, that's adult. I would give that, it's just an M. It's just one scene, and they might have used the word COCK and slick and things like that, but it wasn't graphic. It's just, I was expecting none or fade to black, or, and then he was inside me and it felt wonderful, that sort of thing. Yeah, no, I'm still DNFing it. Like, it wasn't doing anything for me. I wasn't getting invested in the story. I just didn't care. So I might start One Boat next and see how that goes. My ex-boyfriend's here at the moment because he finally got in a controller for the watering system, because I'm hoping to be able to control it from inside my house on my phone instead of going into the garage or going into the backyard to control the systems all in one thing. That would be wonderful, because I do need that now that it's summer. The gardens will need to be watered, and it by hand, it generally, if I was to do the back and the front, that would take me about 3 hours of watering to water everything properly, and I just don't want to do that. And that's probably a lot more water than a drip system overnight, yada yada. So he's doing that, and my ex-husband just messaged saying, do you want to do the Christmas in the city lights today? Because V wants to go to the city to see the Christmas lights. And I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see how V feels. Like I said, it is 40 degrees today. That means at 9 p.m. when we go to the city, it will still be 30 degrees, but maybe with the sun not out, it'll be manageable. But I just have to see how she feels, because she was at the pools all day, so she might be a bit fatigued, but it would be good just to knock it out. Like I said, Christmas Eve is next week, so we've got to get it done. We've only got like 5 days to see them, and it's better to do it on a warm night anyway, I reckon, than on a cold, miserable or raining night. And it might be nice to get out of the house since the house is hot. So we'll see if we end up doing it. Hopefully V says, yeah, let's just get it done. That'd be nice. But otherwise, yeah, I'll start off with One Boat. I remember this had a decent first sentence, right? Yes, it was finding a place that was somnolent, a town rather than a village. There had to be activity to observe. A few tourists, but only a few. And I learnt the new word somnolent next to this. So we'll see how we go. It hasn't got very good ratings on Goodreads, so I'm guessing a lot of people weren't impressed, but that doesn't bother me, so we'll see how we go. Hey guys, so yes, we are actually going out to see the Christmas things today. It is too hot for makeup, so I've just put some lippy on, but I think it looks weird. I think it might be too much considering I haven't actually got makeup on. I think I might swap to a gloss. Hey, Sylvie? Yeah, I think I might do that. Hold on. I'm gonna swap it. Okay, it's too late. It stained my lips, so I'll just go and eat something and then figure it out later. I decided to DNF One Boat. The writing style wasn't for me, so it was about a woman who went to Greece following the death of her mother, I think. Oh, I don't remember. It just, yeah, it wasn't doing anything for me, so I DNF'd it. And then I picked up The Architect's Home by Stephen Crafty, photography by Nicole England. So the architects featured were mostly from Europe or Western countries, the top three being London, LA, and Melbourne. I would say overall it is a very, very modern architecture. So the homes had a lot of polished concrete, wood, metal, that kind of thing. I'll put pictures up of my favorite one. So this I think was from Flanders. And the reason this one was my favorite was because it had a good amount of light and windows that also was surrounded by nature. So I liked that one the most. I will say though that, yeah, none of the homes in this book were really my style. I find sometimes with a really modern, it can feel a bit cold, and it's very pretty, but it's not something I feel like you can really live in. So it wasn't my style. It was beautifully photographed, well put together. So you've got about a page from the architects about their projects. They do speak about the previous properties that had stood there, and I wish they'd had photographs of that. I would like to have seen the houses that were there previously so I could see which parts that they incorporated, which parts they changed, rather than just hearing about it. So that's the only thing that I would have said would have maybe improved it, a before and after as well, not just the afters. But yeah, it was fine. It just wasn't my style. I would still give it a 4 stars because it was beautifully designed and formatted, but just the architects in question, they didn't have styles that resonated with mine. So I did appreciate, though, in one of the Melbourne properties, they decided to keep the outdoor dunny. I used to have one of those, always filled with spiders, always. Awful experience. I'd rather just squat and pee in a bush. Then I picked up Ship of Spells by H. Leighton Dixon. So if you watched my previous vlog, you'll know that this had the best opening line, was the one I was most interested to start. So our character in this, their name is Honor. And Honor is a mage who signs up for her first naval mission and immediately speedruns the worst possible outcomes. They get attacked, her ship sinks, her crewmates perish, her hands are ruined, and mages use their hands to perform their magic. And she seems to be moments away from a watery grave, when all of a sudden she's rescued by the Touchstone, a mythic magical vessel captained by a suspiciously hot, deeply untrusting elven man who runs the ship like a combination of secret society and found family support group. And then mysteriously Ren's hands heal, but she's left with these scars that seem to be carrying some sort of unstable chimera style magic that everyone wants. Is it chimera or chimera? No one understands how it works, and she's not sure if her new magic will accidentally kill her because she's prone to causing things to combust when she touches them with her bare hands. And now she's got to decide, does she stay and work for her enemy on the most magical ship that ever existed? Or does she return to her naval life and hunt down this ship and their crew? I have to say that Honor is a bit of a bitch. She's rebellious, prickly, and disrespectful. I'm not sure if it's just due to ignorance or her pride. So I'm hoping there'll be some growth with her, because at the moment it's hard to read, knowing what we know as readers, knowing what fantasy stories are like. It's like, woman, stop. Stop running your mouth, listen to what they're telling you, use your brain, and make a better decision. And then we have Thanavar, who's our very, very hot pirate captain, and of course he's an elf, which makes him even hotter. So naturally I'm picturing him as Lee Pace, but with dark ocean shimmering hair instead. He also really doesn't trust Honor. He believes her to be mutinous, and he's correct in his assumptions, but the ship has vouched for her. The ship seems to want her. There's definitely found family. You can already tell all of these crew are going to end up being her family as well. There's a lot of characters at the moment, so I am for some reason confusing some of them with each other. They've got very odd names like Echo, Far, Buck, and I don't know why. I just keep confusing which one's which one's the goat, which one's the other hot mage that she would totally bang, and they don't call it bang. They've got a specific word for it, which brings me to what I'm not liking about the book. Oh, there's queer couples as well in this group. There's like 2 husbands. What I'm not liking is all the ship speak. So I've just remembered why I don't tend to read pirate fantasies that much. It's because I don't like the lingo to do with being on a ship. So yeah, you get starboard, port, or whatever, but there's a lot of like, do this and rig that and blah, blah, blah. And I just, whenever that happens, whenever they're talking about the mechanics of the ship or running the ship, my eyes glaze over. I just don't care. So that's, it tends to be why I don't read a lot of pirate stuff, because most of the time they're based on a ship, and that's just the part that I just don't care about. But there are also really cool animals in this. So we've been introduced to harpies, but there's this hawk, white hawk, and the magic is interesting. I don't exactly know completely how it works yet. I can see a lot of foreshadowing going on, especially with Honor's backstory, but I'm sure we'll learn more about this chimeric magic and the runes and the elves and the animals and all the different types of mages. So we're at the point where she is now back on the ship and the story can continue, but the ship is chasing down these other ships. And I think it's going to be heavy on the politics, which I also don't love in fantasy. I'm not a politics fantasy forward woman. I don't like politics in general, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously at the moment, Thanava and Honor are enemies. She was previously hunting his kind down as a naval officer. So there is hatred at the moment and suspicion between them and no amount of trust whatsoever, but obviously I'm assuming he's going to be her love interest. Hang on. Captain's mission is her only chance to survive, even though he doesn't trust her. Caught between privateers, princes and spies. Oh, they're going to be multiple love interests. Oh, that's not going to be fun if there is, but maybe there is going to be. But yes, at the moment, Honor is giving brat. So I'm hoping that will change. And if I was going to say, this book is reminding me a bit of Divine Tides and Amina al-Sarafi, but mostly it's giving me Hunt on Dark Waters. We'll see if there are more magical beings as the book unfolds, but it's got potential. I am up to what page am I up to? Chapter 10, page 94. So I have a feeling I will continue on with this unless it gets really awful terrible. Otherwise, even if it's like a 3-star from this point forward, I'll still continue to read it. That tends to be what happens. If I'm 100 pages in to a fantasy or whatever, and it's got a plot that I'm interested in, I normally push through and just roll the dice and hope it ends up being more than a 3.5 by the time I'm finished with it. Because yeah, I love a plot. And for me, the driving factor in this is the magic system. It seems very cool. It's reminding me of something too, something else that has like script, runes or whatever on arms. Not Doctor Strange, because he doesn't have the arm tattoos. There's got to be some magic I've seen that has like glowing arm tattoos. I don't remember at the moment, but yes, I'm pushing forward. We'll see how we go. Obviously we'll see, once the romance develops too. If I'm a fan of that, then I'll definitely read it all the way. If there's a couple that I ship, I will ride that ship until it sinks. I will ride it till it sinks, So yeah, I'm hoping that'll kick in because I would love a bit of romance. I don't think I've read much romance in this reading blog. What have I read? Have I read any romances and I've just forgotten? I know there was the Isle 9, that was a teen romance, did nothing. Snake Eater, no romance. Oh, As Many Souls and Stars had the sapphic couple, so I did enjoy that. But yeah, I have a feeling this could be the final book that I read for this reading blog, just because I'm just not reading much at the moment. I'm still doing my deck. 400-page book, so I won't be reading any more tonight since we're going out to see the Christmas lights, and that leaves tomorrow, Friday, to finish off. I know I normally can do Saturday for this vlog as well, but sometimes, is Sylvie in here? Hey Sylvie. Mom. I'm gonna go catch you later.
Kids attempted to make a gingerbread house, but
oh no, the roof collapsed. Okay. That's a cute kitty. Well, there, and I tried to. So I tried.
I'm jealous. Hey, how are you even fit up there? Look down, bubbles.
Hello, my darlings. I am a bit worse for wear after having gotten home so late last night. But must soldier on. V's going to Chadstone with some friends. They're going to go see the new Avatar movie, which is 3.5 hours long. Long time. So I'm just going to potter about. I'm probably just going to find some food and read or something, or just walk. I might just walk around and check it out. I'll figure it out. I had a good time in the city. They didn't have as many Christmas things as I did the previous year, so it wasn't as good. But the ice cream I got was also just okay. I didn't really love it, but I did enjoy going out with everybody. Let me tell you about Ship of Spells, because I did finish that. So to refresh your memory, Ship of Spells was a political, nautical fantasy with romance on deck. The romance was very slow burn. They didn't kiss until the final pages. There was a sex scene. I would call it M. It's not very gratuitous, but they did have sex. Unfortunately, I didn't end up loving this as much as I was hoping. I've given it a 3.5. I might have to sit on that for a little bit. The book was very exposition heavy, so I understand the author obviously wants to have complex world building and magic system, but just the way that the information is portrayed, it just felt like info dumps, and I don't love that. It didn't feel like a natural dispersion of information. And like I said, it was so much stuff. And the seaboard, pirate, ship, lingo speak, was too much of that in there. And there were just too many characters. Like I said, there were like 10 crewmates on board, and I'm like, I don't know who all of you are. What's happening here? And it turns out I'm just not that interested in, I would say, kind of mystery. When it was revealed, I'm just like, okay, I don't really care for some reason. Yeah, so look, it's just something about it. The writing style also just wasn't for me. And even though Anna became less annoying as the book went on, I just never warmed to her. And the romance between them, there wasn't enough moments of them flirting, or the tension wasn't built properly. We'd get Anna's head going, oh, I really want to fog him, because that's the word for, in this book, fog. And that would be it. It'd just be like, oh, I'm getting hot and bothered. I hope he doesn't notice. But I didn't feel the tension or feel the chemistry or the romantic spark. So yeah, this one was a little lukewarm, a little bit dead in the water. To be honest, I think I'm going to give it a 3.25. It just, yeah, there was potential, but it just wasn't brought about in a way that I was satisfied with, and I won't continue on with the series. It is made to be continued on. I don't care enough. I actually wanted to learn more about her mother. That was a far more interesting character to me. She did not have a good relationship with her mother though, so I don't know how much they will feature in the book going forward. But yeah, I'm going to say 3.25 overall for that one. I am now going on to maybe Witches of Dubious Origin by Jen McKinley. So we'll see how this goes. If this is no good, I could go on to Surplus Women by Michelle Duff, or I could actually see what's on Libby. I haven't borrowed an ebook in quite a while, and it would be easier just to take, I think it's easier if I just take my Kobo to the shopping centre rather than a book, because I don't like to take library books out if they're not hardback, because I worry about this getting wrecked. It's so fragile. So yeah, I might do that. I might switch to this if I have any reading. But I do predict my reading is going to slow way down, way down. I've just finished that oracle I was working on, but I just got this sort of creative inspiration for a tarot deck and potentially another oracle. So I'm in a creative mood, and I nurture the inspiration, the bursts of motivation, and I feed the flame and the fire, because it's not something that I can control. You know, when inspiration strikes or when I feel motivated to want to sit at my computer and create, because I'm a digital artist, I guess I do collage art and that sort of thing. But that's what I'm feeling at the moment. I've just got all these ideas and I want to do these things. So I think that's going to take up most of my time. I tend to go until the project's done most of the time, unless I burn out. If I burn out, then I have to take a break. But sometimes I can burn those creative fires for quite a while just to feed it. So yeah, the reading will probably slow down, because I'm finding that I'm just wanting to go and work on my project rather than sit down and read. But obviously there are moments in life, like when I'm catching public transport, I will still read, and obviously when I'm in bed, I will still read. So I'll still read books, just probably not as many. And like I said, now that it's summer too, and I'm going out into the heat and the warmth and the beautiful, beautiful nature, it's just a double whammy. But I will see you guys once I've got an update. So today's Friday, tomorrow will be the last day of the vlog, and I will finish it then. So we'll see what we end up with. But yeah, I'll see you later. so close. It's so far. I've got this, I think, at the library. Okay guys, so that is way too close. Give me some space. Okay guys, so back from the shopping centre. Wasn't too bad. I was expecting absolute mayhem, but it was okay. I just bought some food. The cherry drink. It just tasted like milk with cherry syrup, you know, artificial cherry syrup. So I wasn't a big fan. What was I going to say? I decided to start reading that. Thank you. What was it called? Lies of, let me go look it up online because I saw it in the bookstore and I just borrowed it online. So I was like, that's a sign. The Wicked Lies of Habron Fair. So this is like Welsh mythology. So there's lots of words that I cannot pronounce. And we've got fae, mostly. Fae and fae-like creatures. And we've got two sisters and one of them is sickly but fair, beautiful, but also fae-touched. And then we've got her other darker-haired prickly sister that no one likes and that likes to punch boys across the face. And then one day their father is sent to prison for protesting, and he tells the eldest, the grumpy one, you got to take care of your sister. And she's like, will do, pops. But then she goes home and her sister's missing, and her grandmother says she's gone into the woods where the fae live. So she's gone in after her. Sabrina is the grumpy one, and she has discovered that her sister has been living a secret life, a double life, and her sister may not want to return back to the human lands. And I assume at some point she makes a bargain with the fairy prince, because it's what it says on the back. And we'll see if that happens and if it gets a bit interesting. At the moment, it's just feeling very sort of young YA, and it's feeling very generic. Could be any YA book I've read about sisters and fae in the woods. So one I read really recently too. I can't remember what it was called. But yeah, so I'm going to give it a bit longer to impress me. Like I said, with fantasy I'm uncertain about, I will normally push on for at least 100 pages and then make a decision. So I'll read that, and yeah, if I end up DNFing it, that might be it for this vlog, but we'll see how it goes, because I'm about to get back onto working on my tech now that I'm home. So I'll read more in bed, and I'll touch base with you tomorrow and let you know how I'm going. Oh, I forgot to say, so I actually took the kids to see Zootopia 2, and I enjoyed it. I like a lot of the children's animated movies. Obviously, I think I like Zootopia 1 a lot more than Zootopia 2. It wasn't as good, but it's still just a funny movie, and it's entertaining. So I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5. It's just entertaining and fast-paced, and my kids enjoyed it, and that makes me enjoy movies more when my kids are having a good time and they're laughing. Look at my pretty lady. Hello, pretty lady. Good morning, guys. I am very, very worse for wear today. It's just too much. Too many events, too many days in a row. So I'm having a flare up. I ended up DNFing. Was it The Lies of Habron Fair? It was too YA. It was too young for me. And I wasn't invested in anything that was happening in the story. It just felt really juvenile and young, and not the kind of book I was in the mood for. So did DNF that, and I will not be reading any more books today, even though it's Saturday. I just want to spend all my time working on a new deck. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to finish up this reading vlog. So I read Aisle 9 by Ian X. Cho, which I gave 3.25 stars. The World Ends in a Discount Store. And the real horror is still customer service. Snake Eater by T. Kingfisher, which I gave 4.25. A woman moves to the desert to start over, and instead becomes the emotional support human for an ancient god with boundary issues. As Many Souls as Stars by Natasha Siegel, which I gave 4.5. A cursed woman and an immortal soul eater spend centuries locked in a toxic romantic stalemate with fate and each other. The Architect's House by Stephen Kraft and Nicole England. Modern Architects' Houses. I gave that 4 stars. And then Ship of Spells by H. Leighton Dixon, which I gave 3.25. A shipwrecked ensign with deadly magic joins a legendary crew to stop a sea-bound war while trying not to die or fall for her captain. Those were all the books I read for this reading vlog. Let me know down below a recent read you had. And until next time, stay wild, Star Child.